A shalom to the hopeful elect. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders at Great Millstone who teach the truth and rule well. This is the brother Yatab, Yahweh Allah, coming back from the GMS SF Bay Area camp. And I got a quick lesson today. All right, Lord's will is edifying. But just seeing, everything going on, World War III getting popped off. You got people going crazy over here in America. All right, you got this great divide, which the scriptures say, when a kingdom is divided, it shall not stand. So what does that show us? It shows us that we're coming to an end. All right, end of what? End of an age. All right, end of a rulership. And whose rulership? That's the rulership of Esau. The scriptures say in the book of Esdras that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So what are we witnessing? Again, the end of a nation in power, which is Esau, and his power structure, which, again, headed by what? America, this country over here, America. It's also called Babylon, also called the Great Whore. All right. And it's beautiful times. All right. Beautiful to witness this because these things have to happen before the kingdom is established. All right. This is Job 20 and verse 4. And it says, knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment. So this is a common theme. All right. When you have a wicked person, whether they be in rulership, whether they be in a high position, okay, whether they're so-called winning, all right, eventually what's going to happen because of the way they live, because of what they've done, and really going against Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and what he set up, eventually they're going to fall. All right, eventually they're going to come to an end. And that's exactly what's going to come to place here in this world. All right, Esau's rulership is going to come to an end, and what? Consequently, all right, Babylon, America is going to come to an end. All right. It says that verse 5 again, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment, though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto to the clouds. All right, which goes into his pride. All right, what is he built with this, the pride that he's had? All right, look at everything we have today. All right, look at his technology, but more importantly, look at the policies that he's pushing. Again, they're going contrary to what Yahweh Shem Yahushai set up. That's why they are the wicked. Verse 7, it says, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? He shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. All right, and again, this is what's going to happen. Esau, eventually, after he does his time, this place is destroyed. His power structure is taken from him. All right, is given to Jake. What's going to happen? He's going to go into slavery. All right, he's going to fulfill his time. All right, and then what's going to happen? He's going to be done away with. Okay, but again, this is what we're witnessing. We're witnessing the decline of his power. All right. Now, also in the book of Job, chapter 14 and verse 5, it says, seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee, thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. All right, and what is this talking about? Esau has bounds. All right, the wicked has bounds. This place, America, has bounds that the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai has placed on them. All right, they can only rule for as long as the Lord wills it. And again, what we are witnessing in this day and age today, all right, March 24th, 2026, we are witnessing the decline of Esau's power structure. We're witnessing the decline of America. All right, we're witnessing the decline of Babylon. All right, and what does that mean? That shows us that his end, all right, is near, and we're reaching those bounds. All right, the Lord is only going to allow him to do so much more until it's just go time. Okay, we understand there's a couple more prophecies that have to come to pass. Mainly the MOTB. The World War III has to get fully popped off. But then once he does that, what's going to happen? All out nuclear warfare. And then what? That causes his destruction. But, you have Jacob's trouble, him coming down with great wrath. These things must happen. But again, it shows us that we're at that bound. Okay? Now, real quick, let me jump over here to Psalms 75 and verse 7. Or I'll start at verse... I'll start at verse 4, really. It says, "And I said unto the fools, deal not foolishly, and to the wicked, lift not up thy horn. Lift not up your horn on high, speak not with a stiff neck." And this is a warning, all right, to those wicked, all right, especially Esau. You know what? Hey, check yourself, all right? Check your pride. But if we go into Obadiah, what does it say? Thy pride has deceived thee. So Esau has pride that he's not going to get rid of. But it says, "Lift not your horn on high, speak not with a stiff neck, for promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south, but the Most High is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another." And this is exactly what's going on. Here it is. Esau's thought this whole time he was able to put himself in a position, okay? He starting with the Greeks, as they say, what civilization started with the Greeks. He was able to do all this on his own, conquer the known world, set up a system of laws and rules to where, this modern day society uses them. Okay. But ultimately, what was that? That was the Lord setting this man up to be able to do these things. All right. And that especially after the 1,000-year period, of Jake ruling, it just showed you, how the Lord could really set up the basis of man. Well, it goes into that. Let me grab that. In, what is it, Daniel? All right. Yep, Daniel 4 and 7. It shows you, again, it shows you the power. Or it shows you that the Lord is in full control. Because here, Esau was called a wood wolf, the wild man. Or he was a cave beast. And here it is, the Lord had put it in his mind, or in the ability of his being, all right, to be able to come up against Jake, to get into these power seats, all right, and what? Take over the world again, all right? Daniel 4:17, it says, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men." And this is exactly what happened. All right, but it shows you what? That the Lord is in full control. All right, he is that judge. He set us down one and puts up another. And this is the times we're living in. All right, this is the time we're witnessing the downfall of Esau. We're seeing him put down Esau. And who is he about to raise up? Jake. All right, which, I'm going to have to get that in the Apocrypha. Where is that? Yep, 2nd Ezra 6 and verse 7. It says, Then answered I and said, What shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? All right, and this was Ezra's asking the question. Okay, basically, when's Jake going to come back into control? When's the nation going to be established, the kingdom of Yasharallah? Which, the disciples asked the same thing. It says, And he said unto me, from Abraham and Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the hill of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, so what does that mean? Esau is the end of this current age, and who's to rule next? Jake. Yasharallah, starting with the elect, Yahushua and the elect. Okay? So again, this is the times we're living in. We're living in the end of Esau's society. We're living in the end of Esau's rulership. And again, what does that mean? The end of America. Okay? Now from there, let me go also in the Apocrypha, the book of Sirach, chapter 10. And I'll start from the top. It says, A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. And that's a wise judge. Look at this government. Look at this society. It's out of order. It says, As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. And this is a wicked judge. All right. So all his officers, all his people, what are they? They're wicked. They're into all this nastiness. All right. A confusion is pushed out. All right. In the kingdom to come, who's going to be the ultimate judge? Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So what are going to be the officers? In like manner, in order. All right. Verse 3, it says, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. And this is that unwise king right now. The scriptures say if the Lord didn't speed up the times, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, the times are being sped up. All right. This man is literally a destroying everything, destroying the earth. Verse 4, it says, the power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set up over it one that is profitable. And again, this is the times we're living in. Who's that profitable one? The elect. All right. Starting with Yahushai, the whole nation of Yasharallah. Okay. That's going to be the profitable rulers of the next kingdom to come. It says, in the hand of the Most High is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. Bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong, and do nothing at all by injurious practices. Pride is hateful before the Most High and man, and by both doth one commit iniquity. And again, here goes that pride again. All right. And who is this full of? Or who has just a mind full of pride? This is Esau. His society is set up in pride. All right. I mean, look what goes on here. It's a straight, quote unquote, middle finger to the Most High. This is what these people are doing. Verse 8, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And hey, this fits who? Who fits this bill? And who actually has the receipts? We have the receipts. Esau fits this bill. And what was a big kingdom, or, one of the big kingdoms that Esau used to do it? America. Look how this place was established. All right. Look what happened to Jake in this land. So what's going to happen? When Esau goes down, America's going down. All right. Now from there, let's go to Jeremiah, because again, with Esau going down, what happens? America goes down. All right. And this is all throughout the scriptures. But again, it's written in code if you can receive it. All right. It's going to go into Babylon. Who's the modern day Babylon? America. Jeremiah 51:1. It says, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will raise up against Babylon. Again, modern day Babylon is what? America. And against them that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind. What is that destroying wind? Thermonuclear destruction. It says, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her and shall empty her land. For in the day of trouble they shall be against her round about. And the scriptures say, all they who bend a bow. All right, even America's allies. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow, and against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men, destroy ye utterly all her host. This whole land is going to be destroyed. We are witnessing the end of America. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in the streets. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah, for his power of the Lord of hosts, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon, and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. And again, for what this place has done to Jake, all right, it's going to be destroyed. For what Esau has done to Jake, he's going to be destroyed. Okay, the controversy of Zion. Verse 7, it says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. And this is what America has done. Pushed its policies, its philosophies upon all the nations. And what does the scripture say? The nations are mad. All right. Oh, it's like I jumped the gun. It says that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. And look, hey, you're seeing a big part of it right now. All right. What's going on? Iran is not bound down. Hey, Iran is making demands, and this is hurting America's economy. Okay? Iran is hurting them where it hurts, but it shows you this hammer is falling. All right? This big bad America is at an end. Here it is, a little nation like Iran is standing up to the big bully, and America's not being able to do anything about it. Why? Because it's the end. Verse 8, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto the heaven and is lifted up into the skies. All right, so there is no healing Babylon. Babylon, America is not coming back. There's nothing. Hey, even if the Strait of Hormuz were to open, even if all the oil was to come through, even if some way America got rid of its debt, which we know that's impossible. But even if they did, this place is still coming to an end. All right, we just read it. There's bounds that the wicked is not going to be able to pass. America is only expected to rule for a certain amount, and then what? The Lord's about to destroy it. All right, so there is no healing. There is no God bless America. There's no coming out of this destruction. There's no build back better. There's no make America great again. This place is coming to an end. All right. Jump over here, Revelation 18 and verse 2. It says, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon, again, who's modern day Babylon? America. The great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Which, again, these nations participating in the policies and everything, yes, it made these nations rich. All right, but like we just read, all right, these nations are mad. Okay, it says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that you receive not of her plagues. Which the only ones who are going to come out of it is what? The elect. All right, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her doubling according to her works, and the cups which she hath filled to her double. All right, and ultimately what? This place is going to be destroyed. Esau is going to be put into slavery. All right, and he's going to get his ass whooped, and then he's going to be done away with. But what did it say as for America? All right, it says this place is going to be a habitation of devils. After it's nuked, it's going to be a desert where only unclean creatures dwell. All right, this place is going to be an example. All right. Now, I'll end off on this. This is Isaiah 34. And I'll just get straight to the point. All right, which it goes into the destruction. All right. I'll start at verse 34. Yep. And again, when you see Edom, all right, it's synonymous with this modern day Babylon, which is America, because America is part of its power structure. Isaiah 34 and 5, it says, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. What is that? That nuclear missile. All right, it's going into that utmost, outermost atmosphere, if I'm saying that right. But basically, in so-called outer space, in that first layer, it says, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. All right, who is that? Esau. The sword of the Lord is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord hath a sacrifice in Basra, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. All right, what is that? A sacrifice. Why does it mention these sacrificial animals? Because, America is going to be a sacrifice, right? It says, and the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with the bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust shall be made fat with fatness. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. All right, again, for what this place and what Esau has done to Jake, right? It says, and the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. All right, which is what? Again, a nuclear destruction. This place is going to be on fire for a while. Right? It's called the second death, the lake of fire. This is what's going to ultimately happen to this place. All right. And again, because this place isn't right, because of who's in rulership, it's going to be destroyed. And ultimately what they've done to Jake. Okay. The Lord is going to make a big example of America. So we are what? We're witnessing the end of America. We're witnessing the end of Esau's power structure. All right. Hey, Lord's will, this is edifying. Once again, I want to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders at Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect and above all.